Well, hello, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do our December the 30th Spiritual Principle a Day in a meditation. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Let's see what the title of the meditation is for December 30th. Okay, letting trust take root. It says, simply allowing someone to be with us as we go about our lives can be priceless. That comes from the Living Clean book, Chapter 2, Connection to Others. Being a member of NA allows us to experience something many of us were looking for all along, whether we knew it or not, a sense of community. We found our people. But then we may look around at our fellow addicts and think, I'm supposed to trust these people? The answer is not all of them and not all at once. An H&I speaker often joked, the good news is there's hope. The bad news is it's us. Like love and courage, trust usually begins with action, and the feeling comes later. We start with a sponsor and grow our circle from there. We don't have to like everyone in NA, but we do need to recover with some of them. After being clean for a while, we often feel a special connection to the members we got clean with, the people who were around in early recovery. We may grow to appreciate the traits or qualities we don't like about some fellow members. We know them well enough to trust that they are who they are, and there's something reliable about that. We show up for each other, warts and all. My mom was a difficult person with few friends at the end of her life, a member wrote. We didn't expect anyone but our immediate family to attend her memorial service. I looked up to see members of my crew, the folks I cleaned up with, walking in. They didn't know my mom, but they knew me. Being part of the NA community, helps us develop a practical form of trust, which we then find useful in so many other areas. We show up for others and let them show up for us. In our family, work, and romantic relationships, we allow others to be who they are, and we have the courage and willingness to be who we are alongside them. We share the road together. Trust can sometimes spring up in unlikely places. I will be myself, allow others to be themselves, and let trust take root where it will. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the reversion of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. Connection to others, that's what we're talking about from chapter 2 of the Living Clean book. And this is something that I want to take my time with, but I don't think I could take enough time for it because I've had a lot of experience in 31 years over trying to develop trust with others. And sometimes what happens with that is you want to be more trusting, but because you have so much baggage from the past and so many foul experiences from the past, maybe you played a part. For sure you did. We all play a part in everything we undergo, right? So many of us were not trustworthy. And we have that also is a part of our baggage. And we're trying to clean that up now that we're in recovery. And so what happens is that you know you want to be more trusting, but you have all of this baggage that you're dealing with. And you're trying to figure out, is this person trustworthy? Is that one more trustworthy than this person? Should I become more friends with this individual versus that individual? I want you to stop right there and just breathe in deep and relax, because this is something that is developed over time. Now, true, I feel like I found my people when I came into Narcotics Anonymous. When people talk to me about their disease of addiction, or they show me evidence that they are suffering from the disease of addiction, I am the first person to recommend make a NA meeting. I love my recovering life, but I haven't always loved it. There were times when I would be in the rooms with certain people and I would just remember all of the trash talk that took place between us. And it would be so difficult for me to trust that I could be in that particular group, share what I needed to share, and leave that particular meeting better, because I had so much distrust of others that were sitting at the very same meeting that I was sitting with. Okay. And so when I would have a conversation with my sponsor about that, she would tell me they probably have the same thing that they're thinking about you. Someone has to take a chance on sharing something and trusting that it's not going to leave the room. Just take something that is not high risk, not all that important to you, but something that you know that you've been dealing with, that you would be able to share and you wouldn't care if it got out or not. I want you to go into that meeting again and I want you to share that small thing. I don't want you to expound on it a whole lot. I just want you to share what you're going through, what your feelings are, and what step you think you need to apply to that, and leave it. The minute you hear what you've shared outside of the meeting through someone that should not have that information, come talk to me, because these are things that develop our trust, but they can ruin our trust as well. And what you need to know is that not every individual in the meeting is trustworthy. Not every person you encounter in the fellowship is trustworthy. But at some point in time, you are going to have to trust someone. And I want you to trust me on this. And I was like, you said a lot. You want me to take my business, go sit with her and share? No, no, no. It's like, this is a work in progress. We don't have to get it perfect. I want you to pray about it and let me know if you have the willingness. Do you have the willingness? Right? The W of the how: honesty, open mindedness, and willingness. Do you have the willingness to take my suggestion and get back to me? Tell me how it goes. So, in that particular instance, I ran it by my sponsor first, what I wanted to share. And I told her, I'm going back to that group and I'm going to share this, and I'm going to share where I'm at with this, and I'm going to share that I need to surrender. I need to apply a step one to this. I'm going to keep it as simple as I can. I'm not trying to get profound. I'm going to take your suggestion because I invited you into my life and I love you and I trust you. And even at that time, we were working on our trust relationship. And it went off without a hitch. I went and did exactly what I told my sponsor I was going to do. And I never, till this day, and this must be some 20 odd years later, I never heard what I shared at that particular moment. Again, I never heard it unless I brought it up with the individual that I distrusted right there in that meeting. So is it possible that they also were working on something? maybe not working on the same thing I was working on, but were they also working on something? So what's the point? The point is that we learn to give each other the benefit of the doubt in this fellowship because so many of us have similar backgrounds that we've come from. We were some of the most untrustworthy individuals that there ever was. And the people that we took advantage of and we ruined their trust were some of the closest people that loved us the most. Closest people to us that loved us the most, that would have given us the world. And because we chose to use drugs over honoring their trust, we ruined it. But now we're in recovery and we are getting not only second chances, we're getting third, fourth, fifth. We're getting chance after chance after chance to be able to make some of these things right. That's not saying that everyone is going to trust us again. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not so naive to believe that. But I do know that this is something that once you start practicing trust, it almost seems, and somebody leave me a comment down below, but I believe that when I start to practice trust, then it's almost like a downpour, like a shower of trust begins to come my way. I'm putting trust out there and I'm receiving it. And it's a wonderful feeling to come away from that untrustworthy mighty stream. It's a very good feeling. So when we're talking about letting trust take root, in my mind, going back to that downpour or rain, I'm thinking of trust as a seed that you plant in the ground, and hopefully the ground that you're planting it in is not rocky, but you're planting it in the ground. And usually, what happens is that when water hits that seed, it begins to open up and sprout. It can take root. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes weeds of unbelief and weeds of distrust and weeds of all that extra baggage that we brought in the rooms, those weeds come in and ruin the opportunity for that to take root. But more than likely, it will take root and it will grow. Now, you may have to, like with the Just for Today meditation for December 30th, you may have to do more than just pray about developing trust. And they say, if you want to work on something, pray for it. Because generally, if you want to have some issues with your patience, pray for patience. And it seems like every trial that can possibly be thrown at you that will test your patience comes up. It's the same thing with trust. And praying for trust, but are you ready? Are you really ready to work that out so that you end up being a person that can trust others? That's a question that only you can answer. Only you can answer that. That's why I pause, because I want you to think about it. Are you really ready to do the work that is required when it comes to developing trust? If you think about, a farmer that has to go out and till the ground and get it ready and then lay the seeds and then make sure even during a drought that those seeds are watered. And it may be months before that farmer will see his harvest come in. But he knows from doing this year after year after year that not every year looks the same. So not every situation looks the same. Trust in one situation or with one person may look different than trust with another individual. It's simple. It's really quite simple. For those of you out there that have children, let's say maybe you have an 18-year-old that has learned how to drive, has a license now, and you're thinking about getting that 18-year-old their own car. That trust of investing in that child to the point of giving that child of yours their own vehicle to come and go according to whatever you prearranged with them is different than the trust you will have for your 8-year-old, right? That relationship, what you extend to the 8-year-old is going to be different than what you extend to the 18-year-old. It's quite simple. It's the same thing in life. The trust that I extend to my husband is different than the trust that I extend to the nephews that I'm raising, because that's what's required. But I trust them all, but I don't necessarily show that trust. If I'm making sense, I hope I am. I don't show that trust in the same way. I wouldn't dare give an 8-year-old the keys to my car. But I have some stepsons that are very mature and very responsible. And if they came to me and said, I need your car for a week, I would give them the keys to my Jeep and allow them to drive that because I trust them to be responsible with that. And so I want you to feel your way through this particular meditation for today. Maybe you have someone in your life that has been trying to get your trust back. Maybe there's someone in recovery. And just extend a little trust today. And you'll see that more trust is extended to you today. Let's read this again at the end. Trust can sometimes spring up in unlikely places. I will be myself, allow others to be themselves, and let trust take root where it will. I like that because it means that you don't have to force it. You just need to be willing to work with it. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose.